Hello everybody, this is Petrikov and I'm going to be doing a tutorial on V Rising. I'm going to show you guys how to use your defenses, some ideas you can use for those bases you have, and a general overview on the importance of servants and other things you can use to defend your bases. So we're going to go ahead and jump onto this server right here, guys. The official ham server PvP. Good server, guys. I recommend it. Now, this game is generally a PvP game once you get up to the top ranking. And I really like it because it's really simple to keep up on top. Like, you can get raided, and everything is very easily repairable. Only your materials get taken, but everything else is practically free to repair. So that makes your base, guys, incredibly important. That makes your base the most important thing. Forgive all the clutter. Currently, we're getting ready to move, so we have a few extra servants in waiting, as it were, for the move. Now, this is my defensive hallway. This is actually my last line of defense, but I'm going to be showing you it backwards because technically that's how you would be building your base. So this is my defensive hallway. Everybody has to get through this area to get to any of my important stuff. That's generally how you want to build this. And you fill it filled with the servants you guys get. Whatever ones you choose and whichever ones you manage to procure throughout the game. It's important you use doors like these to keep them from moving about anywhere outside of these areas, guys. You want them all in one defensive line because if they're all in separate rooms, they'll get picked off. They're just not strong enough to deal with a player on their own. Another thing, guys, you really want to deck them out with some nice gear. I currently don't have them at the top tier right now, but that's fine because they're still basically the same level as me and can really wreck my face if they can catch me. And that's where everyone else gets aligned with this. There are 9 servants you can use, guys. That's a lot to deal with as a 4-man clan. And it is basically the most important thing you want to do when you start this game, guys. Get a base, get your minions, set them up, because they're going to be here 24/7 guarding your place. They are going to be your defense. They're going to be your resource gatherers. And they're just generally the most important thing you want to gather. It's the key to becoming a strong presence on your server. All right, so I'll be giving you guys a review on every unit in the game and some of the other videos I'm going to be having, but that's generally what I wanted to share with you about base defense and emphasizing servants. It's really important. So now I'm going to go ahead and show you guys a little secret that I think was discovered on this server. I really have to hand it to the game makers. They really did a great job with creating things that are generally not very well known, but are very, very cool. So these are werewolves, guys, and generally they are not used in defense bases because you can't turn them into servants. They'll just turn into vampires, and they'll lose their werewolf abilities. So these guys will actually try to eat my face if you try to pet them. Believe me, I've tried. It's not pretty. Alright, so now that I've shown you my first line of defense and my second line of defense, I'm going to show you one of the most important areas in the base here. This is my kill room. As you can see, I have like a window here so I can actually shoot through it and hit them if they go through that wall. And I'll be able to just close these windows if they start shooting back. And then I can just open them right back up and close them again. It's really useful, guys. I really recommend using windows for defense and really think about where you can place them because that is super important. And on that note, you also got to think about elevation because most bases are going to be elevated at one point or another, which means you're going to have stairs. So you're going to want to have stuff like this door right here in this little edge here that you couldn't actually take over, but you have a door here to let you through. And the reason for that is you now have a line of sight of the stairs. You can now use your bombardment spells. So anything with a radial, you can use. And I've just summoned a big, powerful creature that's going to wreck their day the moment they get through here, guys. This you could have your entire clan stacked here, throwing spell after spell at your enemy, keeping them from breaking down this door. It is honestly one of the strongest strategies you can use to defend your base when you're on. Now, another thing you want to think about, guys, is using doors in areas that you just don't have anything at, but you can vault down. You now have several exits that they cannot police easily. They can remember it eventually, of course, but if you're clever, they'll never find out where they are. And you can have multiple places in your base. You can actually be, while getting raided, getting a bunch of your stuff and moving it to another base without them knowing. Now, let's go ahead and go over here, and I'll show you the kill room in a bit more detail now. So these right here are tombstones, guys. Generally, they are used for refinement purposes, where you would get a undead, you'd summon it, it's hostile towards you, but it drops certain objects, such as bone and grave dust. So generally, people use them to farm things. I use them for defense when I'm not on and when I'm on. So and the reason why there isn't any on right now is because they're somewhere else. They are actually spawned in the front of my base. So my base is currently right here, guys. I have two entrances, and I've divided my undead evenly amongst. Primarily, I use Banshees, and a sub amount of them are going to be unholy priests, due to the fact that they can spawn in a great deal of enemies to deal with, where the Banshees are more the brawlers. They're the tough ones that actually would be something a player would be afraid of. And after I summoned them, I moved their tombstones, guys. And I moved them over here in my inner base. The reason for that is you can only have 3 active at once, and they take a decent amount of time to summon. So generally, if you just have them where we normally would summon them, they'd open the doors, they'd kill your undead, they'd break your tombstone before you can even summon anything else. But now, they'll kill your undead, but they didn't know they were there because there weren't any tombstones letting them know where they are, because you can see through walls, guys. You can see buildings. You just can't see units. And while they're busy taking on the rest of my base, trying to go through my doors, another whole army is being spawned in here. And that's where these doors come in, guys. You can open these up and let them out, and then close it again, and now they're protected. Now these things are spawning in a new wave of creatures. Generally, this is the slow creatures to use, honestly. This is just here so I can have a second wave of undead and a place to put them, to be honest. But these right here are actually my killers. These are vermin vents. They are our vermin nests. They are incredibly effective, guys. You can, once you get up in the levels, you can get spiders and you can get mosquitoes. And I'm not talking the little shits. I'm talking about these. And they are very, very dangerous. You can get up to 10 of each in here, and they take 40 seconds to respawn 3 of them at a time. So basically, guys, you open up this door, let the horde out to deal with your enemy, and then close it. And then within 2 minutes, you guys got an entirely new army ready to wreck them again, and you can open up the doors again, or by that time they might have broken through. But you most likely would have killed at least one of them, especially since you have this window here, guys. You are constantly harassing them, and you can do this as a singular player, guys. This is the most important kill room in the game, right here. And you can do this anywhere so long as you have one entrance. Like, I really suggest any place that you can eventually funnel them in, this is what you want to build. Now, I've already covered stairs and the elevations that you use, and that's incredibly effective. So now we're going to go into here in werewolf use and some caution. So as you can see, guys, werewolves are humans during the day, and they are very, very weak. So you generally want to keep them safe, and Mostly, you don't want them to be your first line of defense. You want them to be a secondary or a third, or even as a pocket defense, where you have them in small rooms like this guy right here, and you manually open them so that way when it becomes night, you can have them fight as werewolves. Now, generally, I wouldn't do that except for with a select few because you have to be on for that. Generally, people will attack at night because they don't want to burn. Um, so it's pretty safe. And even then, if they attack you in the day, they're at a disadvantage, guys. Especially when you're dealing with the Banshees here. Like these guys right here, they'll cause a fear effect and get you to be uncontrollable for about 6 seconds, which means basically they'll burn and they'll die. So it makes your Banshees far more effective if they try to attack you in the day. Now, here's another thing you use for Windows, guys. I now have access to this door. I now can hit my enemies when they're trying to break it down, and I'm in a safe little pocket in my defenses. I am in a nice spot to just bombard them. Generally, this is what you want to try to think about. Where can you put something that generally is incredibly unfair for the opponent to deal with? And if you're doing that, you're doing it right, guys. You don't want to give them a chance. They'll most likely attack you when there's only one of you, or that your clan isn't on. Don't give them a chance. Now, I'm going to go ahead and head over here. This is what I would call a safe entrance, a safe room. It's similar to the kill room due to the doors, but generally, guys, you want one entrance like this. So I now can go through here without having to worry about my Banshees killing me, because they most certainly will try. So the reason why you don't do this with all the other doors, guys, is because honestly, you might forget. You might forget to open these things up. And generally, it's really annoying to put your minions back in. You have to be careful there. I've died several times trying. So you want to have only one safe room. And then the rest of them, you're going to want to have opened up. You're going to want to have them... Oh, hello there. Get back outside. Bad dogs. Okay, you can see they are fairly aggressive, and they like chewing on your shoes. So you want to have open areas in every other entrance to your base. As far as you're concerned, guys, you only have one entrance to your base. That's all. Everything else is, I've stuffed werewolves in there. I don't want anyone else to come out. I don't want anyone else to be here. So I'm gonna just wall it up and forget about it. I'm still gonna have defenses, but it's actually the worst option for someone to use because they have to go through your walls. All right, so that is the basics of defense, guys. And in the next video, I'm going to be showing you how to get your werewolves and generally some more details on how to use them. Very useful creatures. They, all in all, have made me one of the hardest members to raid on this server. But it is not the only reason. It's because I have invested on my servants. They're the most important thing, guys. The most important in the entire game. And I hope that everyone has fun. I really want to give credit to the game developers again, because these werewolves guys are genius. Like, you wouldn't think that this is something you could do, but they've obviously intended this to be a thing, guys. And I can't wait to see what they're going to do next with this game. Well, peace out, and I'll see you guys again.